Είναι δυνατόν! Είναι δυνατόν! Έχουμε δώσει μια περιουσία. Δεν είμαστε Αθηναίοι. Δεν είμαστε από εδώ.
There was a kind of darkness in the middle of the day because of the smoke all over.
Let's start with these wildfires in Greece. The country is facing an unprecedented environmental crisis. That's according to the country's Prime Minister.
We are in a region where the climate crisis is felt more.
Firefighters in Greece battled through the night to contain 82 wildfires across the country. On the island of Rhodes, around 19,000 people have been evacuated from villages and several hotels in what authorities have called the largest ever fire evacuation in the country's history.
It's a very difficult day for Greece, another difficult day. After the fires, now we have the floods.
Greek officials say the rains that began on Monday were the heaviest ever recorded.
Well, Greece, by being part of the Mediterranean, it is a climate hotspot. That means that all the climate effects happen faster and they seem to have a greater intensity as compared to other parts of the planet.
Now the situation, as we all know, is worsening from year to year.
Even our generation is facing a risk. So the threat is not a threat for the future, it is a threat for the present, which is even stronger for the future.
It was a hell. It was an absolute hell because of the smoke all over and ashes and heat. You could feel the heat here. But if you were in a village that was actually burning, where the fire was burning around, I mean, the fire department, their emphasis was on the villagers, and it was choking and eyes streaming, and they were trying to do what they could do. And then at a certain point, the fire moved on. And then your livelihood is gone. I mean, your trees, your whatever it is.
It's complicated because arson and climate conditions always mix together and give the final result. We, as a part of the civil protection mechanism, don't ask ourselves if fire started from one or the other reasons. We're throwing ourselves into the flames in order to control the event.
When you have a heat wave, especially the one that we had last July, you get a very dry forest environment. So whenever there is a forest fire, it is more aggressive and it's less controllable. If I was to categorize the dangers, I would say that heat waves is the most important climate dangers for Greece.
You know, you see floods, you see all these movements, that you see mountains coming down, trees falling down, and you say, oh my God, that's a disaster. But really, 95% of the mortality of climate risks comes from heat. You know, the health of the people gets really deteriorated.
Some dangers are to the south, some dangers are to the north. What is important to know is that they get more often, more frequent, more intense, and of higher duration.
But what it is really important is make people aware of the risk. We categorize the heat waves, for example, and we make it public now to the people that say category 3 is the most dangerous, please take extra measures.
The olive oil is one of the 5 most exported products for Greece. The olive tree is an integral part of our economy, our culture, our traditions. It's a part of the Mediterranean diet. It's a staple. We have a large production every year, but also depends, as we said, from the climate conditions, the rain, the drought. But the extreme heat, of course, it will be a problem. We face a serious problem with the dehydrated fruit, and it smells like heated and burned or wood, something like wet wood.
Mastiha, it's a shrub, it's a tree. So it has a specific limits that you can grow it. There is a great concern, especially with the climate change, that affects the production of the tree. And especially during 2021-22, we saw that the production of mastiha actually, it stops for that period in order to the tree to be able to survive.
You know, it becomes really dry. It gets dry underground, it gets dry going to the top of the trees. So when it's too dry, like the fires in California, the fire develops its own weather. So it becomes very aggressive and it's very difficult to be controlled.
Έτσι νέα ακόμα. Και μετά από τόσα χρόνια είχε γίνει ένα υπέροχο δάσος και περνούσες και ήταν μια πηγή πρασίνου. Μετά έγινε αυτή η μεγάλη καταστροφή η οποία κόστισε και σε θέμα πρασίνου για το νησί και ομορφιάς και έκανε και μεγάλες ζημίες και στα μαστιχόδεντρα τότε.
Yes, this is a natural forest, and we decided not to plant vineyards there because we want and need this. It acts like a buffer zone for the high temperatures and the drainage from the rains. Hail and rains and thunders are always a usual phenomenon around the world, but now they're more often. We try to respect the nature, the fauna, and the whole ecosystem of the region too.
I'm an optimist, you know, in all my life. And I used to be, and I am, and I will continue being optimist. Why? Because I trust science. And in spite of all difficulties, science provides solutions. It would be honor for the Greeks everywhere to save Greece from man-made climate change.
So it's not only on this, we have higher targets on renewables. The aim is that by 2030 we should have 80% renewables. And when I refer to renewables, it's not only wind and solar, it is geothermy, tide, wave, all these forms of renewables.
So Greece has an abundance in natural resources. It's ideal for both wind and solar projects. There has been an attraction of investments as well.
The Greek-American community has a lot of scientists, have a lot of engineers, have a lot of people with pride and love of the country. They can also support the country whenever something happens. And I think this message needs the supporters of the Greek-American community.
But it takes the courage of our people, the generosity of our people, the philoxenia of our people, the principles of our people, the values that we have inherited from our faith in God.
In this long course of history, we have built monuments that they last until today. The Parthenon stands still. They tried to destroy it, they bombarded it without success. And it's still there. Why? Because nature could not compete the wisdom of the Greeks. Now, this wisdom should come back, and we can revitalize it.